What's going on, everybody? Sliding Dutchman here, and today it's finally time to install the angle kit. I got all the parts and everything I need, like the bushings for the lollipops to place E46 low control arms, and basically how we're gonna do it is, if I haven't told you guys yet, I'm using E46 lower control arms, which are a bit wider than the original ones, which sets the tires a bit more outside. And then I have, and then I have other knuckles which have been welded to relocate the tire rod end. I'm now on my way to a buddy of mine, Ruben. He has a hoist lift, whatever you want to call it, and we're gonna place the car on there so we can work on it in a decent way, because outside it's a bit rainy, it's a wet, very windy day, so I'm very glad I can stand inside somewhere to do this instead of doing this on the street by myself. Should be a pretty easy swap. Everything should fit with the stock tire rods. You just need to extend them just a little bit, but it should be doable with standard ones. At least I know multiple people that run them and they all say, yeah, it works with standard, so go with that. Also, my car is a bit leaky. I still need to figure out where it's coming from and clean it up a bit, but I just keep filling it up. It's not like I have to do it on a daily basis, but after a few thousand kilometers, I need to fill it up a little bit, which is not really that much of a big deal. Pros on that is that everything on the bottom side of the car is a bit oily, and because of that, none of it is rusty, so I expect everything to come loose pretty nicely. So I still have to push the old bushings out of the lollipops. I have the rubbers and everything out, but it's still a metal ring inside there I need to push out. Get the other stronger rubbers in there, and then we can basically just swap them out. Also, the sway bar, I will still be attaching that. There's a little hole already for it, and you just need to drill it out. It's like a 10mm, and it's an 8mm hole, and it needs to be a 10mm. So just drill it out and you can place the stock sway bar and everything in there. Should be an easy swap, or at least that's what we all say and hope, but every time we do something on the car, it's like, oh, 2 hours time, and it takes 4 or 5 hours, so that's what I'm expecting now. So we'll see how it goes. It's not that difficult to do, it will just take some time to do, but Ruben is helping me, so I expect it to be a lot quicker than doing it normally by myself. I'm almost there, so I'll see you guys when I get the car on the hoist lift. So here we are, cars on the hoist. As you can see, this is all oily and nasty as fuck, but what happens is that I was turning this and you can hear the fluids, but then it's just squeezing it out there. So something is not right, because I did it a few times and that's what it's already leaking and dropping down. So definitely something to check very soon. But for now, let's get the arms out of there. As you can see, like I said, normally it's rusty, but there's all oil over everything. So I don't think it's going to be any problem getting the tire rods loose and change them a bit. So happy days. Also, with these wheels and more angle, that might be a problem. So I need to get like different offset wheels maybe. That's something for the future. Let's just get the wheels off. I think I'm gonna press the bushings in first in the lollipops, like these ones. They need to go in here, but first that little ring that is in here needs to come out. So first gonna do that, and I have everything ready, and it's just taking parts off and putting parts on. So, got the old rings out. I used just what is it? A saw to just snap the ring, and then I can push them out. Then I put them in between the vise with 2 plates, otherwise it was buckling every time. So I just used 2 plates and just pushed it in there. So bushings are in. Move to the car. So sorry for the lighting, but 2 bolts to take the caliper off, 3 bolts to take the suspension rod thing coilover off, then 1 to get this one off, then there's a what is it, joint thing here to get the lower control arm off. Then there's 1 on the other side here for the steering that needs to come off. That one needs to come off, and then these 2. And if you've done that, you end up with something like this. Now, that's not me, that's the previous owner who had a low stance car, I think, because this was also teared up, so it was lowered before. Everything is off, and I'll be ready to put this back on. I did this just so I can just get a move on, because it's a lot more work than I anticipated, because well, I'm doing it all by myself now. And the thing is, I need to drive to work tomorrow, so I already noticed that if I'm going to have a little bit more angle, I need a different offset wheels, because my wheels that I currently have are too much offset, or I need to poke out a bit more to the outside, because the inside is rubbing everywhere. So basically that one goes in there. Tighten that from the top here with a long key, or just a wrench with some extenders, and we should be able to put it back on there. It's pretty straightforward, so I'm gonna make a move on a little bit and hopefully film a little bit more on the other side so you can see more of the progress. But it's just loosening bolts. That's everything I've taken out, and well, need to take the disc brake off. I put it on the new hub, that's the welded one. As you can see, that's the knuckle that used to be like here, but now it's in an angle and it's over there. So this one back on, put all the other shit in, and well, hopefully everything goes as smooth as it's going until now. No more problems, and then I'll be out of here in a sec. So even though this was all the right parts for it, I still need to cut like the corners here off, so the bushing goes in a little bit further, because it's not lining up with the car. As you can see, it's thickening here, which makes it not slip on far enough. So again, the angle grinder, and it's take a little bit of the corner off so it slips on a little bit further. So hopefully there's enough lighting. Got the brake caliper off, hang it by a zip tie so you don't damage the lines. All I need to do, take this one off, the bottom one, the whole strut, like I explained earlier though. The other one is done, and yes, it's leaking, and I'm very happy with the result, because there's just a lot of angle. It's rubbing just a little bit here on the lower control arm, and on the other side here on the sway bar. So I think if I use a spacer, just a little one, then it should be all good, because now it just rubs a little bit, but it's also at max angle. The tie rod does not come out anymore. So I expect that with a little spacer I can run these wheels, and then in the future look for different offset wheels. basically, because, well, as you can see, it's not much to it though. It's just a few bolts and a little bit of fabrication, like the end there with the rubber, like I showed you guys. Because if you do is stock, this little thing is barely sticking out, so you need to like shave down these edges here a little bit so it goes on further, so it comes on a little bit more, because these here needed to fit, because this is the other point where it is and it was too far back, and then this doesn't fit. So now it does. This set is all done. The other side should be no problem, because I now exactly need what to do and everything now is prepped, so it's just getting it loose, put it on there and done. Also, I need to really fix my oil leak, but good thing is none of the bolts and nuts, nothing was stuck. Everything was pretty easy to get out. So, yep. So, sorry for the wind noise, but I just took it for a little test spin to see how straight it is. It's a little bit toe out, so I need to adjust it a little bit, but just by the looks of it, it's just I'm steering this way as well a little bit, but it's I like the drift stance. Wait, I'm gonna sit behind my car, there's no wind here. I love the drift stance. So yeah, nice. The thing I need now is to raise it up a little bit, because as you can see there's not much clearance, so I need to roll the fender, raise it up a little bit and get a spacer to fully use the potential of the angle, and then we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I didn't film the end of the tie rods that I needed to adjust, because they were stuck. That was the only thing on the car that was stuck, so I needed to bring the torch out, and Ruben and his dad just helped me a little bit with it, just holding down one end of the tie rod and the other one adjusting it. It was really hard to do, but it worked. It's pretty much driving straight though. I mean, I can release the wheel and I'm still going straight. I already hear 2 rubs because of the lowness that it has, and because the wheels came out a little bit, so I'm rubbing the fenders, so I definitely need to do something about that. But like I said, I'm gonna get some spacers, and then so I have the clearance so I can go max angle, and I do need to do a little adjustment to turn them back in, because it's a little bit too much like this, exaggerated of course, because they were saying like you need to do 20 mil of adjustment, and well, it turns out it's not even 1, so that's a good thing. I'm not running on the end of my threads. So before I can actually use it, I still need to do a few adjustments. I want to thank Ruben and his dad for helping me with this and lending me the lift, the hoist to put the car on. He actually gave me a vise because it didn't have a vise and he had one spare. He was like, well, here, you can have it, which is pretty damn awesome, so thanks for that. That was Ruben. And I already noticed that I don't have to steer a lot for corners. I mean, it's just, it's almost nervous. This is insane. Because I was driving out of the garage and turning onto the street, and they were like, Jesus! And I was like, what? And I looked out and I was already like going like that with the wheels. So I will also do, oh yeah, I'll show you guys the difference between before and after. So you guys can see how much angle increase it has. I already hear a problem though. Since the camber, the toe angle is a bit off, as soon as I steer now, they start to squeal a little bit because one tire is like not in the right direction, so it's just dragging a bit, which is, I can live with that, but I still need to do a little bit of adjustment and then should be all good. So we're here the next day, put my car again on the lift. This case it's another lift, so I was able to measure the toe angle on the front wheels. And what you do is basically you loosen this nut and you can twist this inner tire rod to adjust your toe. And what we did is we took a little piece of wood or whatever you use, cause like this, and you put it up against the wheel, the rim, and you take a measuring tape and you measure the front and the rear, and you can see the differences between it. Make sure your steering wheel in the car is straight, and by doing that you can really measure out the difference between how your tires are, like if they're like pointing outwards or inwards. Did that, was just a few final adjustments because I did it the last time at Ruben's place, but it was still a little bit toe out, and now it should be all good. Last adjustment is that because of the E46 arms, for some reason the car sits a lot lower, a lot more camber as well, but it was really rubbing the inner fenders and I couldn't go to maximum lock. Also I'm hitting the sway bar and the inside here of the lower control arm, so I'm gonna get some spacers which will come in today, later today. Hopefully I'll be able to install them, but for now I'm just twisting up the coils just to get some extra more ride height and not rub the fenders. So as you can see, I raised it about an inch, 2.5 centimeters, which I think should be all good to have the clearance here, at least a lot more, and I can always go a little bit further because I used copper grease on everything, even the whole threads. This was not really a big deal to get loose. This one was a little bit harder as the other side because I went off track and got some dirt in it, so I need to spray and everything till it was out. But yeah, how to get your cheap coilovers to work, just copper grease and everything. Saves me this time. So after a little lap around the block, I think it's pretty much straight. I mean, having your wheel in the middle, especially with a little dimp like this, you can really see when you have your wheel straight. Also, the wheel gap now is a lot less. It was kind of here and I raised it about a good inch, so I should be having a lot more clearance. Still though, I'm not too sure if this is enough. When I go to full lock and the suspension travels a little bit in, then it can still rub, but we'll see about that. For now, it's a lot better, and for the 24th of March, I think it's yeah, pretty good. Cool. So here we are on day 3. I did some alignment, as you can see, but it was still not 100%, which you can only do so much by eye. But it's going straight now if I hold my wheel straight, but if I let go of my wheel, slightly pulls to the right. And well, I've been raising it up, doing again just minor adjustments at home. After it was still not straight. I thought it was straight, but the straight wasn't, like a little bit curved. So I'm gonna do professional alignment now, so hopefully I can bring in the camera and show you guys something about that. And maybe, I mean, he can see it, so how many degrees of camber we're running and everything, and
then know how much to take it out, because I think it's a little bit too much for now. If it's wet, then I'm having trouble cornering, because the inner wheel needs to skip in order to corner, because the diff is welded, and because there's so much camber on the front wheels, I'm not using the full potential of the tire, which makes the car understeer a little bit. And some pieces of asphalt are perfect, there's no problem, but then there are sections that is just so slippery, it's just, oh shit. And it's a good thing you're driving slow then, because I'm really precautious driving it now, but I think you're better off with a welded diff than with a bad alignment, because that shit is sketchy. Anyway, see you guys in the shop.
So unfortunately, because of, I had no safety shoes and all that bullshit, I was not able to spectate the whole process, because I was just interested in it. What they did give me though was a sheet with all the values that the car has and what they changed and what the differences were. So let's check those out, because I think they're interesting. I think this is decent. Somewhere around here, doesn't matter. If you can see here, it's all in Dutch, so, and I don't know why they call it those things, because stupid, whatever. This is the camber, which they couldn't really adjust, which was on the rear 2.10 degrees and 2.16 now, at least, but there was a difference of 1 degree, so they only adjusted like the little bit you can do from factory, but there's only so much you can do. Then the toe angles, they were also a little bit off. Brought them just closer together. Then we go to the interesting part, which is the front wheels, this part. And the front wheel has a camber of 4.2 degrees, which is quite a lot. And I was driving it yesterday, and it really feels so slippery, and I was like, oh, I don't hope that's the camber that I have, because it's ridiculous. At least for me, I've never run that much camber. But here we go to the toe angle, which is here at the bottom, and it says that I had it on 1 degree out. And the funny thing is that I did the last thing here on my driveway, just lifting it up, changing a bit, putting it down, looking again, and I did everything completely by eye. But it's the left side is 1 degree out, and then 1 degree 06, and the other one is 105. So they're basically exactly the same, which is pretty nice, just doing it by hand, by eye. Seeing that it's still wrong, but they were close, they were equal. And he brought them to 0.07, so that was mainly the issue where I came for, but it's nice to see all the values that I have. A lot of things he cannot adjust, just a little bit of camber, and the toe angles, because those you can do a lot, at least for the front with. The car hooks and grips like crazy now, really good, so I can hopefully. Hey, sorry, I just they even set like wheel suspension with lowered ride height, and they 318 IS Sport, and he said they were tuning it by terms of a M3, because he said if the car is lowered and everything, you're much closer to the ride height and everything of like the M3, which is a little bit lower and more sporty from factory, so they tend to go with those values. But nonetheless, just this was the main
thing where I came for here at the bottom too. But I'm just very, I don't know, even see if you can see them, but it's all about stupid numbers. I don't get it either, most of it, because I cannot adjust a lot of it. Camber arms will be incoming, so I can put the rears a little bit more flat to the ground, have a more even tire wear. Switch out from these winter tires because they're grippy as hell, and well, wait for the next drift day, I guess, which is the March 24th. So that's this month, the 24th. Really looking forward to it and see how much angle I can get, because I've already noticed that I can go a lot further into angle instead of just spinning out normally. I hope my ride height in the front now is decent, so it's not rubbing when you throw. I'm just hoping that it's just good for the drift day now, because maybe I need to raise it up a little bit. I can always do it there if it's really becoming a problem, but not to rub. Also, the wheels are a bit too wide. I'm running 205, which is for 318 IS. Like it's not that much, and maybe change them to some smaller tires. That said, on a drift day I'm using Steelies with different tires, so we'll see. Maybe in the front as well, because if I now go to full lock, like I said, I hit the lower control arm and the sway bar, and because of it I made the decision to buy some spacers, just so when I go drifting I can put them on, because they're illegal here in Holland, so I cannot run them on the street. And then I hope to get the clearance that I need to get to full lock and not hitting everything. Otherwise, maybe changing to a smaller size tire or something, because they're just fat, but that way it's cheap to get new tires or different tires. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned, hit the subscribe button if you want to see the next event using all that angle, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.